Muslim countries frequently make headlines for their attacks on freedom of expression, sexuality, education, or anything considered pro-Western. But few people may know that Islam once embraced these institutions in a period of history scholars refer to as the Golden Age, which notably coincided with the European Dark Ages. So what exactly was the Golden Age of Islam? Well, most historians understand the Islamic Golden Age as a period of history under the Abbasid dynasty, which ruled from the 8th to 13th century. At the time, Islam was only about a century old and concentrated in the Arabian Peninsula, the Mediterranean, and North Africa. Once the Abbasids took over and formed a caliphate, the capital was moved to Baghdad, and Islam spread to other regions. The Abbasids were inspired by verses from the Quran and Hadith that emphasized the value of knowledge rather than just religious devotion, and they strongly pushed for advances in science, art, and commerce. One of the most unique features of the Islamic Golden Age was its inclusivity. In Baghdad, the ruling caliph created a house of wisdom. Here, Christian and Jewish scholars were invited to join their Muslim counterparts to share ideas, information, and creative work, which was all translated into Arabic. These scholars carried out a variety of state-funded research projects, resulting in the Islamic world's first astronomical observatory and one of the most detailed world maps of the time. The House of Wisdom also fostered a considerable amount of scientific, philosophical, and scholarly works. Many Golden Age scholars put their studies to practical use, particularly in the field of medicine and healthcare. Physicians and philosophers wrote medical encyclopedias and textbooks that were used for centuries. One famous Persian physician was the first to differentiate between smallpox and measles. By the 10th century, pharmacies were a staple in most Muslim cities, and hospitals stayed open 24 hours. This era even saw a sort of universal health care, as hospitals were forbidden to turn away the poor. The period also gave way to some of the world's first universities, as well as countless works of art, including architecture, literature, and poetry. The Golden Age also saw the foundation of Sufism, which is a mystical Islamic philosophy that promotes peace, education, and philanthropy. Millions of people still adhere to Sufism, and the practice has been promoted as an alternative to radical forms of Islam. Most historians mark the 13th century as the end of the Golden Age, when Genghis Khan and his Mongol army conquered much of East Asia, including the Islamic Caliphate. In 1258, the Mongols destroyed Baghdad and the House of Wisdom, anecdotally throwing so many books into the Tigris River that it ran black with ink. The Caliphate was completely demolished. Had history played out differently, there's no telling what Islam would look like.